my Doctor Who DVD collection.
It's Captain Jack Harkness, the face of both.
Hello and welcome to WhoTube Gallifrey 02 in my episode review for episode 10 of series 10 of Doctor Who, The Eaters of Light, written by Rona Munro and directed by Charles Palmer. So yeah, this episode, my initial thoughts on this episode is that it was absolutely brilliant. It is a really good episode again. You know, Empress of Mars, that was really good. The Lie of the Land was really good. We have had 3 really good episodes in a row, in my personal opinion. And yeah, this episode really did deliver, and I did really have low expectations for this episode, but I did think it was really good, really good. Scenery, that was amazing, and yeah, the plot was amazing. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to do the plot, then my positives and negatives of the episode. So yeah, I would personally rate this episode an 8 out of 10, and it's one of my favourites from the series so far. I would say it's possibly my 3rd best, behind Empress of Mars and The Pilot, and then it's on par with Thin Ice and The Lie of the Land. So yeah, really good episode in my opinion. So yeah, basically the Doctor, Bill and Nardole go to ancient Aberdeen in the 2nd century, and the 9th Legion of Rome has tried to invade North Scotland, Aberdeen, but the Celts want to defend it, so they release this creature, the Eater of Light, from a portal they are guarding from another dimension. So yeah, this creature gets released and kills the entire Roman Legion, but they don't think ahead, and yeah, it's out there and it's going around killing loads of people. And yeah, there's some survivors of the Roman Legion, and yeah, they want to basically invade North Scotland still, but they can't, and yeah, the Celtics are really angry with them. Bill gets captured by the Romans, and the Doctor and Nardole get captured by the Celts. Then they become friends, and then they team up together and put the Eater of Light back in its portal, but of course it needs a guard. So the Doctor does volunteer, but then one of the Celtic women decides that she wants to be a warrior and decides to guard the portal along with the rest of the Roman soldiers. So yeah, that was really good, the episode, and that is the plot of the episode. And yeah, Missy appeared at the end of this episode, and yeah, I thought that was good, that little ending scene. A bit long, the ending scene, but you know, it really did get you into the finale feeling, and yeah, summed up the story nicely. So yeah, positives of this episode. Well, first of all, I want to say the scenery in this episode was amazing, absolutely amazing. Really did like the scenery in this episode. Also in this episode, like the plot, very straightforward plot, good runaround, basically like a classic Doctor Who episode, just basically capturing the monster and putting it back where it should be. Basically, it was a pretty bland plot in my opinion, but it was still a good runaround. Another positive, liked all the characters. They were very good, the characters in this episode, very believable, the characters, I think. Possibly the best secondary characters in the series so far. Really did like that about this episode. Also, liked all the historical references in this episode. Really good writing by Rona Munro, a lot better than Survival. And yeah, this is Peter Capaldi's last regular episode, as well as Bill and Nardole's last regular episode, one last adventure for them. Also liked the present day flashbacks. I don't know what they were for, but you know, they were just there for a bit of gap filler, and yeah, they were, yeah, okay scenes. But you know, now on to negatives. So my first negative is at the end when Bill and Nardole and the Doctor are saying goodbye to the Roman soldiers. They do a pan of the valley, and yeah, there is a modern tarmac road in the background along with dry stone walls. They originally used to use hedges. Dry stone walls weren't used until later on, and there was also a house in the background, but it wasn't a Celtic hut, it was more of a Victorian type house. if you noticed that, but you know, that's an historical error. They should have edited it out, but you know, they didn't. So yeah, that is a negative in this episode. Another negative is the birds. That was pretty bad CGI. Another negative would be is that the CGI when they're walking into the portal, that looked pretty bad. It looked pretty retro in my opinion, and I didn't really like that. Last episode that felt very retro, but this episode felt a bit too retro. You know, the CGI was bad. It was like something you would see back in 2005. It's not 2015. Well, not 2015, 2017 standard. So yeah, that was a negative. And another negative, my final negative would be, is at the beginning of the episodes, this is in the opening shot, in the opening titles, when it said Eaters of Light, the lettering was far too big. They could have made it smaller, as it did really look unprofessional, the title, The Eaters of Light. So yeah, didn't like that about this episode. Yeah, this episode reminded me a lot of The Girl Who Died. Don't know if you noticed that. There was a lot of recycled music. Really like the musical score in this episode, very good indeed. And yeah, personally, I thought it was a brilliant episode, and a really good end of the regular episodes of Series 10. So yeah, next week we do have the finale, well, part 1 of the finale, World Enough and Time, and Johnson's Master is returning. I do wish this episode left us on a cliffhanger, building up to the finale, but it sadly didn't, really. You know, Missy was in the TARDIS, but that wasn't really a cliffhanger as such. They should have had a cliffhanger, Johnson returning or something like that. That would have been an ideal cliffhanger for me. So yeah, until the next time, when the drums beat, here come the drums!